Please press bell icon to subscribe to my channel Seema Gautam for more videos. This is chapter 3, Poverty as a Challenge, in which we will learn about poverty, urban poverty, rural poverty, poverty line, vulnerable groups, anti-poverty measures, etc. Poverty can be described as not having enough material possessions or income for a person's needs. Poor people could be landless laborers, people living in the juggies, or laborers at dhabas. Poverty in India. So India has the largest single concentration of the poor in the world, which illustrates the seriousness of the challenge. Every fourth Indian is poor. India is having the largest number of poor people in the world. So the following two cases show the many dimensions of poverty, including lack of proper food, shelter, healthcare, education, as well as clean water and sanitation. They also show lack of regular means of livelihood. So we'll discuss first about the urban cases. That is Ram Charan, whose story we are going to share here. Ram Charan is a 33 years old daily wage laborer at a wheel flour mill in Ranchi. He managed to earn around 1500 rupees per month, which is not sufficient to feed a family of 6 members. Ram Charan lives in one room rented house in a crowded basti. His wife also works as a part-time maid and also earns 800 rupees per month. They manage a hardly meal of dal and rice twice a day, but there is never enough for all of them. His eldest son works at a tea shop as a helper and earns another 300 rupees per month. They have only 2 pairs of clothes each. New ones are bought only when the old ones become unwearable. Shoes are luxury for them. The younger kids are undernourished. Also, they have no access to healthcare when they fall ill. Next, we'll discuss about the rural cases. So here we are going to discuss about the Lakha Singh. Lakha Singh belongs to a small village near Meerut, Uttar Pradesh. His family does not own any land, so they do odd jobs for the big farmers. They earn rupees 50 per day for hard days. Often it's in kind like a few kilograms wheat or dal or even vegetables for toiling in the farm through the day. The family of 8 cannot always manage 2 square meals a day. Lakha lives in a kacha hut with his family on the outskirts of the village. The women of family spend the day chopping fodder and collecting firewoods in the fields. His father, as was TB patient who passed away due to lack of medications, Lakha started earning at the age of 10. Oil and soap are a luxury for the family. Social scientists, which we are going to discuss here, look at poverty through various lenses, usually through the level of income and consumptions. It also has some social indicators like illiteracy level, lack of general resistance due to malnutrition, lack of access to healthcare, lack of job opportunities, lack of access to safe drinking water, sanitation. Social exclusion. So according to this concept, poverty is seen in the terms of the poor having to live only in poor surroundings with poor people. Vulnerability. Vulnerability is determined by the options available to different communities for finding an alternative living in terms of assets, education, health, and job opportunities. It is analyzed on the basis of the greater risk these groups face a time of natural disaster like earthquake, tsunami, terrorism, etc. Additional analysis is made of their social and economic ability to handle these risk. Now we will discuss about the poverty line. What is this? A common method used to measure poverty is based on the income and the consumption levels. Poverty line is the amount of money needed for a person to meet his basic needs. It may vary with time and place. Determination of poverty line is in India. A minimum level of food requirement, clothing, footwear, fuel and light, educational and medical requirement, etc. are determined for the subsistence. These physical quantities are multiplied by their prices in rupees. Food requirement is desired by the calorie requirement per day by an individual. The calorie needs vary depending on age, sex and the type of work that a person does. The average calories requirement in India is 2400 calories per person per day in rural areas and the 2100 calories per person per day in urban areas. The monetary expenditure per capita needed for buying these calorie requirements in terms of food, grains, etc. is revised periodically considering the rise in prices. Vulnerable groups. So the proportion of people below poverty line is also not same for all social groups and economic categories in India. Most vulnerable to poverty are scheduled caste and scheduled tribe households. Among the economic groups, the most vulnerable groups are the rural agricultural labor households and the urban casual labor households. Inequalities of income within the family are also seen. The proportion of poor people is not the same in every state. The All India Head Count Ratio HCR was 21.9% in 2011-12. States like Madhya Pradesh, Assam, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and Orissa had above all India poverty level. Bihar and Orissa continue are the two poorest states with poverty ratios of 33.7 and 32.6% respectively. Decline in poverty in Kerala, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat and West Bengal. States like Punjab and Haryana have traditionally succeeded in reducing poverty with the help of high agricultural growth and rates. National Sample Survey Organization (NSSO) is the one. This organization estimates the poverty line periodically, normally every 5 years, by conducting sample surveys. If we talk about the global poverty scenario, there has been a substantial reduction in global poverty. Poverty declined substantially in China and Southeast Asian countries as a result of rapid economic growth and the massive investment in human resource development. Number of poor in China has came down from 88.3% in 1981 to 14.7% in 2008 to 1.9% in 2013. In the countries of South Asia, the proportion of people living under poverty in different countries as defined by the International Poverty Line means population below $1.90 per day. The Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations calls for ending the extreme poverty by 2030. Now we'll discuss the causes of poverty. The policies of the colonial government ruined the traditional handicrafts and discouraged development of industries like textiles. This resulted in less jobs opportunities. The failure of both the fronts promotion of economic growth and the population control perpetuated the cycle of poverty. Many job opportunities were created in the agriculture sector because of agrarian sectors, but it was limited to some parts of India. Industries in public and private sector did provide jobs, but was not sufficient. Unequal distribution of land and other resources is also major reason. Land reforms which aimed at a redistribution of assets in rural areas have not been implemented properly. The high level of indebtedness in both the cause and effect of poverty. Here we'll Now we will discuss anti-poverty measures. The current anti-poverty strategies of the government is based broadly on two plans: promotion of economic growth, second, targeted anti-poverty programs. India's economic growth has been one of the fastest in the world. The growth rate jumped from the average of about 3.5% in a year in the 1970s to about 6% during the 1980s and the 1990s. The higher growth of the rates have helped significantly in the reduction of poverty. Economic growth widens opportunities and provides the resources needed to invest in human development. So here we'll discuss the promotion of economic growth. There is a strong link between economic growth and the poverty reduction. Economic growth widens opportunities and provides the resources needed to invest in human development. However, the poor may not be able to take advantage from the opportunities created by economic growth. Growth also increases the government revenues and consequently it could afford the programs for poverty reduction. That is why these two strategies are also known as complementary to each other. Here we'll discuss the targeted anti-poverty programs. India's economic growth has been one of the fastest in the world. As I said to you, I have discussed all the data, how it jumped from like 3.5% to 6 in 1970s to 1980s, 1990s, and the higher growth rates helped significantly in reductions. Everything I have discussed here. So India's economic growth has been one of the fastest one here in the world. Some important programs. There are so many schemes and there which are formulated to affect poverty directly or indirectly. Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act 2005 that aims to provide 100 days of wage employment to every household to ensure livelihood security in rural areas. Also aim for sustainable development. Second, Prime Minister Rojgar in 1993, the aim of the program is to create self-employment opportunities for educated unemployed youth in rural areas and small towns. Third one is Rural Employment Generation Programs in 1995. Aim of this program is to create self-employment opportunity in rural areas and program under the small areas and small towns. A target for creating 25 lakh new jobs has been set for the program under the 10th 5 years plan. Next we'll move to the Swarn Jayanti Gram Swarojgar Yojana, which is in 1999. The program aims at bringing the assisted poor families above the poverty line by organizing them into self-help groups through a mix of bank, credit and government subsidy. Pradhan Mantri Gram Udyog Yojana in 2000 they launched. In this additional central assistance is given to states for basic services such as primary health, primary education, rural shelter, rural drinking water and rural efficiencies. The challenges ahead and the new approaches in the poverty reduction. Poverty reductions remains India's most compelling challenge. Wide disparities in poverty are visible between rural and urban areas. Poverty reduction is expected to make better progress due to higher economic growth, universal free elementary education, uh, declining population growth, increasing empowerment of the women and the economically weaker sections of society. Minimum subsistence level of living rather than a reasonable level of living. Providing health care, education and job security for all. And achieving gender equality and dignity for the poor are the major challenges. Thank you so much. Please like, share, comment and subscribe to my channel for more videos. Thank you.